Hello students, in this part we are going to learn about gene and allele. Gene is a functional unit of inheritance. It is located on the chromosome and the place of location of a gene on a chromosome is called as a locus. Mendel was a scientist who studied gene for the first time, but he called it as a factor. The term gene was given by Johannesson. We have learned that gene is a section or a part of DNA that codes for a protein or RNA. So indirectly, it codes for trait which can be the color of the eye, it can be hair color, or any other feature of the human body like attached or free earlobe, which is controlled by a gene. Since now we are knowing the role of a gene, I want to mention something really very interesting. A boy having brown colored eye had parents where mother was blue eyed and the father was brown. Then why the boy is having brown colored eye? Why not blue? Remember, humans have 46 chromosomes. This is a karyotype of chromosomes. You inherit 23 chromosomes from your mother and 23 chromosomes from your father. Here, all 46 of them are right here. As you can see, there are 23 pairs. Each pair has a chromosome from one parent and one chromosome from the other parent. If we focus on one of these pairs of chromosome where the eye color gene may be found, we can see an area where this gene for the eye color would be. Let's assume that this is the locus of the gene. Now remember, one chromosome is from mother and one is from father. Each parent contributes an allele for the trait eye color. Out of the two alleles, one is expressed and seen in the offspring. So, an allele is a variant of a gene. Together, the two alleles inherited from the parents determines the trait of blue or brown eye color. Alleles are the variety of the gene, in the same way as we have variety of carbonated or soft drinks. We have different types of carbonated drinks. In the same way, one gene may have different types, different varieties, and this variety of the gene is called as an allele. Now, since we have learned about genes and alleles, we'll learn a little more about dominant or recessive allele. Alleles are represented by letters. Since we are talking about blue or brown eye color, we'll take the letter B. And here the uppercase and the lowercase really matters. If I take a capital letter or uppercase B, that means that this allele is a dominant allele. And if I take a lowercase or small b, that means it is a recessive allele. So the combination of the alleles in the offspring would be capital B and small b. Since brown eye color is dominant, it can be seen in the offspring. That means a dominant allele is always expressed. Now we will learn the different combinations and probabilities of alleles. The first one is capital B and capital B. Right? So whenever we have combination of alleles, one of the allele is from mother and other allele is from the father. So here both the alleles are the dominant allele. So whenever two dominant alleles are together, the condition is called as homozygous dominant, and always here the dominant characteristic is going to be seen in the offspring. The second one is the probability where a person has capital B and small b. So here both the alleles are different. So this condition will be called as heterozygous. And in the heterozygous condition, always the dominant allele is going to be expressed. The third condition is that when there is two lowercase or two small b's, right? So this condition is again called as homozygous recessive, and in this the recessive trait is expressed. So the recessive allele is always going to be expressed when it is along with the another recessive allele. A recessive allele never gets expressed when it is along with a dominant allele. Right? So here we have got three combinations: capital B, capital B, capital B, small b, and small b, small b. Here the two conditions are homozygous. The first one with the capital letter is homozygous dominant, and the third one with the small letter is homozygous recessive. Whenever you have two different alleles, such a condition is called as heterozygous. Always remember, whenever there are two dominant alleles, they are going to be expressed one dominant and one recessive. The dominant allele is going to be expressed, and two recessive together, the recessive trait is going to be seen in the offspring, right? So over here we have three combinations. They are capital B, capital B, capital B, small b, and small b, small b. These are called as the genotype or the genetic makeup, also called as the genetic constitution. Genotype helps in determining the phenotype, and phenotype is the physical appearance. Over here we have three different probabilities, three combinations of alleles, that is a genotype, and these genotypes, they're going to determine the physical characteristic, that is color of the eye, either blue or brown. Here brown color is dominant and blue color is recessive. We will take one more example but with a different trait. Here the female is having straight hair and the male is having curly hair. The child is having straight hair too. Right? So over here straight hair is dominant and curly hair is recessive. So the dominant trait, that is straight hair, can be represented by capital S, and the recessive is represented by the lowercase or small s. So the probable combination of the alleles of the child over here is capital S and small s. If we consider the last one, that is small s and small s, that can't be. That is because if the child would be having small s and small s, the phenotype of the child would be curly hair. Because if we have two recessive alleles, then always the recessive allele is going to be expressed. But the child is having straight hair, that means the child is having one capital S in the genotype. Now if we take the first one, that is capital S and capital S, that also can't be, because the child has received one capital S from the mother and other alleles from the father. If the father was having capital S, the phenotype of the father could be straight hair too. But father has the curly hair, that means the genotype of the father is small s and small s. Here you have small s and small s. So if the father is having small s only, the child will receive one small s from father and one capital S from mother. So the probable genotype of the child is capital S and small s. Right? So now we have got the genotype, that is capital S and small s, and the phenotype, that is the straight hair. In the next class, we'll be learning about more examples.